there's some skepticism when you talk about changing.
Yeah.
Because you've said that before,
Yeah.
and then a lot of the same things have happened over and over again. And Brittany doesn't think that you're necessarily capable of changing. What do you say to that?
That's her opinion. I've never been on medication in my entire life until I went through the facility. So I think this is playing a huge role. I was very stubborn. I didn't get help. This is the first time I've gotten help. This is the first time I went and had an outreach. Yeah, she's upset. She's upset. She's going to hit below the belt. She's say things I'm not going to change. She's going to say this and that because she's hurt, and she has every right to be. You know, I as you'll see on the season of the Valley, people are probably going to come after me. I was in a really dark place. I did some really awful things. And what I mean by awful things is I was verbally abusive. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily about Brittany itself. I would compartmentalize my problems during the day. If something was going on, if something angered me with my family or my friends, or if I just went to the grocery store and somebody pissed me off, I would compartmentalize it. And then unfortunately I would go home and my wife was the one that would be, you know, in the line of fire, and I would just take it out on her. I would find something to set me off and take it out on her, which was so wrong. It hurts me that she says that because, you know, I would hope that she'd be like, you know, I will always love him and I want him to change. I would hope she would say that, you know, just for my own thing. I've been married to her for a long time, and I would just hope that after this many years that she would say that, you know, she would at least say he's a good father, and I hope he changes down the road, not be so negative. I don't understand that.
Well, I think that she hopes that you'll change. I think she just isn't convinced that it's going to happen. And I think that's, you know, sort of where time will come into play.
Yeah, I think she really wants to see me fail. I really
think
do.
so?
I think so. I think she wants to see me fail. I think she wants to prove everyone right. And to be honest, I've done nothing wrong since I've been out. I've been overly nice to her. I've actually been nice to her more now than I was to when I was married. I go out of my way for her. You know, and there's some, which is weird. She says all these negative things about me, but yet she'll call me like 2 days ago. Come over. You want to have some drinks? Come over. You want to hook up? Like, she'll go out and publicly humiliate me and call me every name in the book. But 3 days ago, she's like, hey, you want to come over and have dinner? You want to come over and have drinks? Don't tell anybody that I'm doing this. So people don't know that. She talks all this shit, but then, you know, she'll be like, come over, come and hang out, come on this. So I don't mean to blow her cover, but, you know, I'm not all that bad. She wouldn't be calling me over. She wouldn't be saying, hey, let's go to the pumpkin patch with Cruz. Let's go to Disney with Cruz. Let's take Cruz together to school. If I was that bad of a human being, do you think she would do all this?
Why do you think that when you say that she doesn't want you to change? Why do you think that?
I don't know. I think she just, I think I hurt her bad. I think I've over the years, I've really worn on her. And I think I put such a bad taste in her mouth. And I think the fact that I've decided not to work on the marriage, I think that was a huge blow to her because she thought I think she thought I was going to work on the marriage. And I think she was kind of a little bit shocked by that.
So you think that, in other words, that if you end up in a good place, that...
And I will end up in a good place.
Yeah. And you know, so if you put in the work and things are headed in the right direction, then that somehow reflects on her or just upsets her because it's easier just for you to be the asshole.
It's easier for me to be the asshole. It's expected for me to fuck up. It's expected for me to go back to my old ways. So, you know, it gives me more drive now to prove everybody wrong, to prove that it wasn't a waste of time for me to go to the facility, that it wasn't a waste of time for me to get help. You know, trying to be an advocate for mental health, I don't want people to be like, he's full of shit, you know? So I'm working really hard on myself, and I'm working really hard to, you know, to make the right decisions. And unfortunately, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has their demons. And, you know, I've just made some really fucked up decisions in the past. And, you know, but I'm trying.
What is it like co-parenting when you guys are not getting along personally?
You know, it's been fine up until now. And I know not to break into the divorce, but people were coming after me because I didn't get a lawyer in the beginning. And it's not that I didn't want to get a lawyer. I was just trying to give Brittany what she wanted. And she told me right off the bat, yes, these are the things I want, full custody and all this. She's like, but you're going to see Cruz every day. I'm just saying this because, you know, I'm protecting myself. You know, I'm his mother, but she's like, you know, you're a great father. You're going to see him all the time. So I figured, okay, I'm not going to fight her on this. There's no reason to fight. you know? And I thought, okay, I get him on the weekends and every Wednesday. I thought that was a pretty fair deal. I think people just thought I was giving up.
Right, because just to be clear,
that's not the case at all.
And you would never do that.
I would never in a million years do that. And we had a one-on-one talk about it. She's like, I would never do that. I just protecting myself and that, I have the final say. The only thing I have a problem with in all this is what we've talked about is medical. I want to be involved in the medical and I want to be involved in his schooling. So other than that, that's his mother. I want him to be in the house that he grew up in. And right now we're kind of, going back and forth because we both have busy schedules with different things. So, right now it's, hey, can you take him tomorrow? Can you do this tomorrow? It's just been back and forth, which I knew it was going to be.
Right.
I knew it was going to be like that. She's not going to want to hire a nanny every day. That's expensive, especially when I'm right down the road and I'm by myself and I'm constantly calling her every day. What do you need me to do tomorrow? What do you need? Can I grab him tomorrow? Let me take him for a couple hours to give you a break because he's a lot. So.
It was one of the reasons that you wanted to take that place too, was that it was right down the road. So
I was right. Yeah, it's literally a mile down the road. Yeah. I can be there in 5 minutes.
Does Schwartz help with Cruz?
In all honesty, Cruz hasn't been to my house yet. He's got a beautiful room all set up. His bed, his toys are all in there. Brittany is just not ready for me to have him at the house yet, which is understandable. But like I said, I think it's going to happen soon because it's a lot of work for her to deal with Cruz full time
on her own. Yeah.
And I'm here. I'm like, hey, let me take him for the weekend. Let me give yourself a break. Cause mentally it's gotta be tough to be a single mom and work and, do everything you gotta do. So I think eventually, she's gonna come around because I've taken pictures of Cruz's room and shown her. And I said, hey, listen, I'll put some cameras in the house that you can see if it makes you feel more comfortable. Whatever it is that you want, I'll do. Like I'm very whatever what she wants. I'm very easy. I just want to make it easy for her. But the more easy I make it for her, the harder she makes it for me. And I feel like she's not expecting this from me. I feel like she wants a fight. I feel like she really wants me to argue. She wants me to, so she can be like, see. I feel like that's what she's looking for. And the fact that I'm not arguing or just kind of walking away, which I never used to do. I used to have the last word. I used to have to yell and scream. I think the fact now that I wash my hands of it, or if she gets angry, I just say, okay, whatever. I think it's bothering her a little bit because she's not used to that. And I think she does see change. I think she really does, but I don't think she wants to admit it.
It's all really fresh too.
It is very fresh. And we're still trying to figure it out. Like it's the ink's not even near dry on the papers yet. We're right in the middle of this divorce right now, right in the middle. And unfortunately, this process takes up to 6 to 8 months to go through. I have a buddy of mine who's on the show as well, Jesse, who's going through the same thing. And his is a lot worse than mine.
Yeah.
They're fighting over the nickel and diming over little things here and there. And they butt heads on certain things. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. I see him going through it and I just hope I don't get to that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely hope that for your sake too. Your marriages were very different in the first place.
Yes.
It's you and Brittany splitting up was sad because that was a loving marriage. And I don't think Jesse and Michelle breaking up was news to anyone.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew them personally. I didn't see that lasting very much. I think in that marriage, he was a different person. He was he's a hard-headed, he's from Boston, he's just one of those guys, but he's a lot different now. He's got a new girlfriend and I think she brings out the best in him. She's a really lovely young lady and I like her a lot and she works with mental health too. And I think she's really changed him. I see a really vulnerable side to him. And I don't know if it's the divorce. I don't know if it's his daughter. I don't know if it's this new girl, but whatever it is, he's a completely different human being. And I really like this new Jesse. I know the divorce is really wearing on him. Like he calls me, and it just cries and just like, you never, I've seen the strongest men in the world, the manliest men just crumble during divorces. It just breaks guys. It just breaks them.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, it's one of the ultimate stresses in life and it is akin to a death.
It's like I said, the hardest thing in my life was my father's death. And now, like I said, this is right under that.
Has your mother met Cruz at this point?
No. And I haven't really spoken to my mother. I think she got wind of, like everybody else through the tabloids. She reached out to me while I was in the facility. She checked in on me every day. I've tried to reach out to her a couple times. She's very vague with me. I sent her pictures of Cruz. I do want her to meet him. I think at some point. I would regret it down the line if my son says, hey, why don't you try to work it out with your mom? Or how come I could have never met her? I think I would, never forgive myself. And, it's hard to hold grudges. It's hard to be angry and mean. It's a lot easier to forgive.
Let go.
Because we're not here for a long time, and yeah, I don't agree with what she did, but life goes on, and I feel like I don't need to be in the best relationship with my mother, but I would like to have a sit down with her. And we did talk about it the last week in my facility of meeting, and she agreed to it. So I'm going to go to Florida and meet her one-on-one, and then eventually bring my son over.
For more of my conversation with Jax Taylor, go to bravotv.com.